Hey, it's Adam here. In this video we're going to fix this backflow preventer that's leaking from the bottom. And you should know before you get going that most cities and counties require testing if you've done any maintenance or even annual testing. And because the laws vary from county to county, the best thing to do is call your city office and ask them what the laws are in your area. That way you can make sure you're doing it right. So how this works is the water comes up this pipe through the backflow preventer and out this way to the sprinkler system, to the valves. There is an arrow stamped on here that you're going to find in case you're wondering or confused about which way the water's flowing. You can see it has two shutoff valves, and so the first one that the water hits is going to be number 1, and then after that it's going to be number 2. And all the parts work like that. They're all numbered like that. These are called check valves. You can see there's number 1, that's the one the water hits first, and then the one after that is number 2. And inside here is a spring and a plunger, and usually number 1 is where the problems are. These 4 ports are called testcocks, and a tech will use these when he's testing the backflow preventer to see if it's working correctly. Down here is something called the relief valve. If you undo these bolts, you're going to see a diaphragm in there, and you might need to clean parts out. But usually the problem's in the number 1 check valve, maybe number 2, and then 3rd I would take this apart if you still have problems. There's a quick test you can do to find out where the problem is. Have both valves open so that the water's going through, then shut off the number 2 shutoff valve. If the water stops flowing out the bottom, then the number 2 check needs to be looked at. If it continues, then we're going to look at the number 1 check. And that's what we're going to do here. By the way, if the handle is perpendicular to the pipe, that means the water's off. Now we're going to use a wrench and unscrew the cover on the number 1 check valve. It is spring loaded, so have your hand over it once you get to the end of the thread so it doesn't go flying off. So take the cover and the spring and the O-ring out, and you're going to look inside, remove this part, it's called a poppet, and you might see debris here, and we do. There's a bit of gravel or rusty metal, something like that. That stopped this piece from fully closing, so that's what was causing the leak. If it's been there a while, the debris is going to deform the seal in that spot, and then when you put it back together, it's probably still going to leak a bit, at least for a while. One thing that the manual suggests if this seal is deformed on this side is to undo this screw and flip it over to a flat side. And it could be a quick fix, but if it's really damaged, you'll need to get a new seal. Also look down the hole, make sure you got all the debris out. If you're not sure, you can flush the system by removing the number 2 check cover, putting your hand over the number 1 and turning on the water a bit. That way it'll just flush everything out and knock out any other sediment. So when you're done, you can put the poppet back in. Make sure it's right in the middle. Put the spring on. And then the O-ring needs to be all the way on. You don't want this twisting or binding once you're screwing it in. If you do need to, you can lubricate the O-ring with some FDA approved grease. So then you can turn the water on and hopefully there's no water coming out. If there's a very slow leak, it could just be that the seal is deformed like we talked about earlier, or you still have debris in there somewhere, or the relief valve has some debris in it, so you're going to need to take that apart if you've checked the other parts. If you have any questions or you have comments, go ahead and leave them in the comments section, and remember to have this tested once you're done. So take care and have an awesome day.